All right, graphic artists. I'm Miss Saleh, and I am the head of our comic book publishing company. Let me take a look at some of your sketches here. I see some really good things. I see that you've got a title, you've got superheroes. These are great. Wonderful ideas. You didn't forget to put your price, and I see a volume and a date and illustrated by and your name, and then a comic book logo. These look great. You guys have now been approved to create your comic book. Please get back with me by the end of class with your outline design. It's great working with you. Okay, boys and girls, I was just being kind of silly, but that's what a graphic artist really does. They send in their ideas to a publishing company. If they like it, then they publish it. Now we're going to come up with our final design. So I have here my idea, my sketch from last time, and it's pretty good. But today what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these ideas that we started last time, and I'm going to make it look awesome. I'm going to make it look like the final design. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to use this as my basis. And remember, all of the things that we were supposed to have on there is the title. If you got that, that's good. You were supposed to write illustrated by. I didn't write that on there, but illustrated by in your name. Make sure you spell that correctly. I'll write it on the board if you need some help with that. The date and edition, that's when it comes out. Volume number 1, edition number 1, and then a date. Price is how much this is worth. How much is it going to cost? And then you need a logo. You also need a drawing of your superhero doing superhero stuff in a place. We don't want him just floating out in the middle of nowhere. So if you haven't finished those ideas, you need to finish those first. But once you've got those all down, now you're going to start with your design. The very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to use your ruler and a pencil. And if you don't have a ruler at home, you'll just use a straight edge, like the edge of a book, to kind of guide you to make sure your lines are nice and straight. So what you're going to do is you're going to get this pretty close to the edge of your paper on one side, and you're going to draw that line all the way down. And then I'm going to turn my paper like this, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to draw that line all the way down, and I'm going to do this all the way around the edge. This is creating what our graphic artists like to call a storyboard. And the title doesn't always, or the cover page, doesn't always have to have a storyboard, but this is traditional for comic book artists to use, is a storyboard or a little box where they're going to put their design. Now I'm going to erase all these extra lines. So I make basically like a border all the way around my paper to make it look nice and neat. And on the outside of the border, like this part in here, we're not going to put anything in there. We're going to make all of our design inside our border. It just makes it look really fresh and clean and kind of nice and ready to present as a final. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my idea and I'm going to start with my title. Now I wrote this just in regular letters, Super Art Woman, but now I want to really jazz up that idea. I want to make it really cool. So now I'm going to think, how can I make these letters go along with my idea of being a superhero or an art lady? So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to turn these letters into, maybe I could make them bubble letters so they pop out, or maybe something really cool is I could make it go with my theme of being an art teacher. So what I'm going to do is maybe on a couple of these things, I'll turn them into some art sort of letters. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this look like it's paint. Ooh. Okay, kind of like this, and then almost like it curves around and maybe a drop of paint over there. So there's my paint, and maybe some of these letters will be regular because it's going to be hard to come up with cool things for all of these, but I'm going to make these like bubble letters. So super, make sure all my letters fit. If they don't fit, then I might have to restart and do it again, but I've got super. And then maybe the word art woman, I'm gonna have, let's do like, I can do a ruler here for this part of the A, okay? And that looks cool. And maybe on this part I could have a paintbrush, kind of like my magic paintbrush. Do you remember that? Like a sword that fights blank sheets of paper. What could I put here? Maybe I could put a crayon, okay? But some art tools in this space here, okay? And then art Whoops, I'm starting to run out of space. I don't think I'm gonna have enough space to write woman, and I don't wanna write it really teeny tiny over here, so I'm gonna scoot down here. Maybe I'll just write this in regular letters, Super Art Woman, okay? Then I'm gonna put illustrated by in nice, neat letters, spelling it correctly, illustrated by, and then my first and last name, okay? And the last time over here I put volume 1, and I'm gonna put that again, but I'm gonna put it in a cooler box this time. So maybe I'll make a little shape, okay? Almost looks like a stamp, okay? And then I'm gonna write volume 1, nice neat letters, September 2020. Okay, now is the fun part. I'm gonna start with my superhero. Now last time I didn't do that great. I didn't draw a stick person. You might have drawn a stick person and that's okay, but now we wanna make it look really good. We wanna make this look like a final design. So I'm really gonna take my time on this. I'm gonna make myself as a superhero and I'm gonna be wearing a super suit. I'm really gonna take my time on this. I've got on cool super boots. Maybe if you didn't really think of your idea of what you were gonna do last time, you can really develop this idea now. So I've got on super boots and maybe I have on a cool belt with an A on it for art. Okay, so there's my belt. And a lot of times superheroes are like in cool action poses. If you can draw an action pose, that would make it definitely look like a superhero, right? So there's my action pose. I'm kind of flying in the air, but I have to hold some of these other objects in my hand. So I've got my paint stuff here. So here's my fingers. And then in my hand, I'm holding my paint palette. Lots of paint on there to choose from to fight that evil paper villain, right? And then this time I'm gonna do a better job on my face. I'm gonna make it look a little more realistic. I'm just doing an outline today. I'm not gonna color anything in. Eventually we are gonna add color to these, but not today. Also, I fight with kindness, so I'm gonna be smiling here, okay? And my ears, and then you know, superheroes always have this great hair. Have you ever noticed that? I wish I had great hair every day. I'm gonna make myself with these flowing, awesome superhero hair. And then holding up my paintbrush. Got my hands wrapped around my paintbrush. And ready to fight the evil of the blank paper. I'm kind of doing that right now, aren't I? I really am a superhero. Okay, so that's pretty good. I could maybe keep adding to that, but I think I'm gonna stop. And then we've got clouds. Last time I just kind of scribbled my clouds. I wanna make them look really cool this time. Maybe another cloud back over here behind me, so it shows that I'm in the sky. And then my evil supervillain. Last time, I didn't draw very much detail to him, but I kind of like that actually. He almost looks like a cartoon, and I kind of want him to look like a cartoon. I mean, I'm gonna give him fingers this time. Last time I didn't. And then he's got his evil face. Maybe he has on a superhero belt, B for blank sheet of paper, okay? So I'm really developing my idea this time. Trying to make it look really good. Really nice job. And again, I want some more clouds over here so that we know where I am. I am kind of floating, aren't I? But I'm not floating in the middle of nothing. There's got to be some environment to show me where I am. And then down below, we'll have our city down below. So I'll draw all my buildings of my city. So it looks like I'm really high up in the sky. Really taking my time with this idea. Last time I just made a few notes. I also put on here I want art supplies on my cape, and I forgot to do my cape, didn't I? So I'm gonna draw a cape, okay? And now I've got my long cape, and my cape has art supplies on it. I've got my paintbrush, and maybe a fancy paintbrush, and then maybe some colored pencils. Okay, some scissors. All right, so I've got these cool things on my cape. And then I've got some of my buildings, make more details to my buildings, really taking my time to fill this up and make it look nice. Okay. And maybe I could have a road down here. And then I need my logo. And I know this has taken a lot of time today, and I am sorry to take up so much of your time, but I wanted you to see how to really develop an idea. We want to make sure to do a really nice job, make sure we can read all the words that we write, make sure our idea is really developed. The last time it was just kind of a sketch. It was just kind of a quick idea of what we were going to do, but now I'm really taking my time on it. I'm using lots of lines to get my idea down. I'm being creative with my letters, if you can do that, making things look better than they were before. Don't forget, when you start, you want to make that line all the way around the outside edge. You don't want to draw anything in this space. This is going to be left blank, but on the inside, you're going to develop your idea. When you're done with that, if you are at school, you're going to put your name and class code on the back. If you're at home, you're just going to save this and you're going to keep it in a safe place, because we are going to add color to it next time. Great job, graphic artists. Go ahead and turn it in to me when you are finished.